Hey, the channel you should check out, Dylan's Woodworks. Again, that's Dylan's Woodworks. Uh, Dylan has a sawmill, a small sawmill, and he does woodwork projects and works around the house and those kinds of things. His channel is kid friendly. Sometimes his kids are even on there, and the reason why I say kid friendly is there isn't swearing and all that going on the channel, and that's a big pet peeve of mine with channels. There's way too much of that going on sometimes. But anyways, you could watch that channel with the kids right there. But I think you should check it out. I will warn you though that you might not want to get too close to the screen, because occasionally, well, Dylan likes to set things on fire. So you don't want to be too close. The other thing I will tell you is that if he offers you a ride someplace, I don't know if I'd want to take a ride with him after the stories I've heard about crashes and so on and so forth. So just a couple pieces of advice, but no, definitely check out his channel. Do that. You may find that you like it. I think you will. What are you still doing here? You should be checking out his channel. What? You don't want to sit here and listen to me, do you? Okay. Well, since you're still here, some of you may have noticed, if you're willing to admit to the fact that you've ever watched my channel before and actually sat there and watched it, there's something a little different. And then, of course, those of you that have never been here before are like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And then there's those of you that have been here before, but you're just totally clueless as to what I'm talking about. Well, I'm going to give you a hint, if you haven't already figured it out. I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, and I can do that. It hurts a little, but I can do it. So I don't have to wear that silly bow tie anymore, and I am so glad about that, and let's hope I never have to wear that again. So hopefully I'm going to be getting back to work here and actually do something. I did talk to someone today, and I may possibly be running a plow truck for someone. I hope that that works out and that I'm able to do that. They were going to call the guy because he was looking for somebody. I can't run my own plow truck and my own plow business. The season's already started for one thing, but even before the accident happened, unfortunately, I have a truck that is down and some other things. But enough about that stuff. Today I thought I'd do a tech tip for you. I was watching another channel, and he was doing some maintenance on his saw and changing a pull cord, and I won't mention any names, but he drives a certain black truck. You may know him, you may not. And he may find this video interesting, and he may be like, what the, But I have a different method for fixing a broken pull cord on your saw. And I see a lot of things where people, they fix the pull cord and the pull cord's too short or it's too long. It won't recoil back in, so on and so forth. And sometimes the recoil is bad and you have to replace it, but a lot of times that's not the case. It's just done wrong. There is an easy method for putting your cord back on, and I'm going to show you that. So, and another thing I'll tell you is, don't do this in your living room. Your wife might not be too impressed with the fact that you're working on your saw in the living room. So I just took the liberty of taking the cover, the starter cover off, so that we could do this demonstration. This happens to be a cover from a 3120, but anyhow, what I'm going to tell you first is, if you use your saw on a regular basis, okay, especially, what you should do is get yourself some spare cords. I would say get yourself 2 handles and a good roll of pull start cord. And you should buy it by the roll. Okay. And what I do is I keep spares on hand. I keep at least 2 spares for the saw on hand because it can happen. You can break a pull cord. It can be for any number of reasons. And what I do is I pre-cut them to length and I set them up. I set them up to the factory length. But what you can do is, let's say you break a pull cord. The thing that a lot of people do is they either just tie the handle back on, which if you're in a pinch that can work, you know, so you can still pull start your saw if it's, you know, not 2 inches long. But you might have a short pole and it's, you know, but, and that'll get you through until you can put a new one on. But I carry them in my truck and I have 2 of them, so I bought, I've got 2 spare handles plus the one on it, so 3 altogether. And I keep the 2 already made up, and what you do is when you break one, you take the length of it. If the pull cord is right to begin with on the saw, you take the length of it that you got there, and don't throw away that piece that you broke on the other end. Take the 2 pieces, put them together so you know how long that cord's supposed to be. Okay? And then you cut off a cord and you burn the ends. I usually use a nice little torch like this, burn the ends so that the ends are, you know, don't fray. So, and we won't do that in here. It is Christmas, I could probably get away with it and, you know, I'd be forgiven, but we've already done that. And like I said, I keep some on hand. So now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to tighten this back up only because this is how it would be on the saw, and I forgot to tighten this back up. Okay, so here we go. You know, you got your housing there, and the cord broke off, so some of it's inside here, and you got another piece. You know, maybe you got a piece hanging off. You know, this might have a section of cord hanging off of it because of where it broke. And so you simply take that section of cord out that's in there, and then you're going to want to take this, which is still on the saw, out. So what I do is I take this right here. Now a lot of people are going to say, oh crap, he's going to pop that off and then that spring that's in there is going to come flying out. No, that's not the case. But let me tell you, if you've ever had one of those do that, you can put them back in, but it might take you 6 tries to do it. And you have wasted a whole bunch of time and maybe even cut your fingers out putting it in. Alright, if you've ever been there, or if you've ever worked on one of those little wind-up toys and actually tried to fix them, you know, putting the coil back into a pull start system, the little metal coil, ain't no fun. It ain't worth it, for the most part. Now, what you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to try to determine why that cord broke. There could be any number of reasons. One reason, though, that you want to watch out for is if this little metal insert in here has a burr on it, it can cut the cord. And if you don't address that problem, it's going to keep doing it. Now, sometimes, very rarely, you can get away with just filing it down. But usually it's worn that slot out. And so you've got to do something with it. You've got to replace it. Now, that could mean 2 things. You either have to replace the whole housing, okay, which might be like, okay, that's not cost effective, that isn't going to work for me. They make a tool that goes in here that inserts these new pieces in, and you can put them in and put a new one in if you have to. So you can go that route, or you can bring it to the dealer. And if he's a good dealer, he knows how to fix that without replacing the whole unit if all that's wrong with it is that little metal piece. And he has the tool to fix it with, or knows how to do it. So, but getting back to what I was talking about, that screw. Now what you're going to do to this screw is you're going to do this slowly, check it, and then do it again. Is you're going to take that screw and you're going to unscrew it a little bit. Okay, back it off. Okay, now you've backed it off a little bit. Now that spring won't pop out if you don't back it off too much. There's enough play in there that you can lift it up, okay? And obviously I haven't lifted it up enough yet, but you want to be able to see this groove up over the thing. Instead of using that notch, okay, and holding the spring and all that funky stuff that you don't have to do, you can do it this way. Okay, so that isn't enough. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to loosen it up some more. Okay, now I'll check it again. Go just a little more. I didn't bother bringing that up to the camera so you could see because I know that it's not enough. But you don't want to, I just backed it off a little more. Now I'm going to show it to you. Okay, it's backed off. And I could still probably get away with more, but we'll see. And this thing is risen above the plate. Well, now that you've done that, without worrying about the spring, okay, you're going to go and you're going to look at, you're going to wind it up a little bit because you've got it broken off, so you got to see where it is. Okay, I found it. You're looking for the end that's still in there. Okay. Now what you can do is you can take the same tool that you used to take that screw off, just pry it out a little bit. Okay. So it's showing. Alright, I got it. Now that I've done that, I got a hold of it with my hand. I let go of this because there's, so the spring tension, you know, you're not trying to hold the spring tension back. Then you just take it and you just work your way around it with it up. Now you don't have to worry about, you're not going to pull this off and have the spring go all over the place. Just hold it up. Just unwind whatever you got left on there for cord, you know, that didn't break off the other side of it. Keep going around and around until you come to the end. Okay, I'm at the end. Okay, and I can let go of it and nothing happens. Okay, it's lined up with this. And now I can take it, I put it in that area there, and I just pull out what the length of cord is. And if you had to measure it to make up a cord, if the cord that was in it was right, then you just measure the two broken pieces together and then you cut a piece off that's that length. You burn the ends of it so that you can use it. Well, as I said, I keep a spare one in my truck. I keep two spares in my truck. And if the other saws are different, I have spares for those because I have a climbing saw that takes a cord that is smaller diameter wise and has different handles obviously, so I keep two spares of those in the truck. So then you take that one that you have in the truck and I have a knot tied in one hand, and just like you normally would, I don't tie the bottom knot. Just take it out, pull it out of the cord. Okay. Then you take it, you've already got one knot in there on the end, just a simple overhead knot. The end's been burnt so it doesn't fray. You put it as close to the end of the cord as you can without getting so close that the knot can pop off. Real important that you dress your knot. Make sure it's tight. You pull on it. Because the last thing you want is after you put this all back together, maybe you pull the pull cord several times, and then one day you go to pull it, and the knot comes out because it wasn't cinched tight. So now you have the cord. Okay. Now you take it. Notice I don't have to hold this spring or anything. You take it, and you take the end of it, and you slide it in the hole. Now, doing it the other way won't work very good. It can be done, but it shouldn't be done because it won't feed right for you. Okay, then you get it in there, then you just grab a hold of it, and you pull it through like that. So you get it all the way up to the end. Okay. Now what you're going to do is, now it's in there and it's sitting in there. Now you're going to take it, okay, and you don't have to actually know your left from your right technically to do this, because obviously you can tell which way to wind it, because if you wind it this way, you can see that it's going to bind here, you know, it's going to bind up there, and that's not facing right. So you know it goes, so you know that you can't wind it this way, or else that'd be facing the wrong way, and it'd be around there, and it'd be coming out like this, and it'd be binding over here. So you just take it, okay, so now like I said, I got this gap up here. Now I may open this up a little more. No, I don't have to. Okay, then you just go around. You're holding this up, you're not holding spring pressure like when you wind it up the other way. Now you just keep winding around this, holding it, pulling on this somewhat tight so that you're getting all the slack out. And then you just go around and around and around is used up. Okay. Now you get about that much cord. I'm not holding it. You're not fighting with the spring at all. You just take that piece that you have in your hand right here, bring it around to up here. Now this is where you're holding the spring a little bit, because there is some spring on it, but put it through your hole like you normally would. Now you're holding on to it. Now there's some tension on there. Now you take this and you take your cord handle and you put your cord handle up through. You put it up through your cord handle like so. You get up in there, and yes, you do have to hold on to it at this point. And at this point, you could have tightened up that bolt for the center of the starter housing, but you don't have to, and I didn't. You do it before you're done. So now you got like cord hanging out here, and yes, you got to hold on to it. If you let go of it, it'll just get in there, but it won't come completely undone. You'll have to just grab it again, but it won't mess up your spring and all that stuff. So now you take this, you take the end, simple overhand knot, put your overhand knot in the end of the cord. Okay. Alright. You make it near the end, but enough so, and dress it enough so it's not going to pop off on you. Okay, but you weren't near the end. Then you just take it, drop it in. Okay. Now we're going to tighten up that screw. Just like so. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to take this, and now that I've done that, you can either grab a hold of it here and pull on the handle, pull it in like that, and this one happened to go in. Usually they do. And then if you really want to, you can press that little end snippet in there, but it's in there good. I don't have to. Sometimes you can take your Allen and put it in. So now that's all set. Okay, I tightened down the screw on this. Okay, now you'll notice cord works. Okay, and then you would put it back on the saw. So I just wanted to give you that tech tip. It's even easier if you're not showing someone how to do it. But that's a method that, let me step back here. That's a method that you can use that you may find works for you. You may find it doesn't work for you. Just an alternative method to what some other people do to put them on. I do believe it's a method that works right. There are other methods that people do that they don't work right. The cord's too short, it's too long. You know, you have to keep cutting it to get it right, and it's just I find it to work very well. Before I learned that method, I really hated putting them on a lot of times, but that method works well. All right.